when I was a wee girl, I didn't really care about God. God wasn't really a thing. I grew up in I guess a Christian home, but it wasn't enforced on me, and it is what it is, right? So then when I got to high school, there is world religions right there for me to take that class, and I took that class. And from that moment till who I am today, I have never I have never left my desire to figure out and to decide and to dissect and research and just show appreciation for all things religion and anything to do with God. So, as you can see with this channel, that's what I love the most. Discussions and conversations about God. So let's sit back, relax, and listen to the story. Let's listen to Tristan? Is it Tristan? It's Tristan. Tristan Tate. Tristan Tate is the brother of Andrew Tate. Is it Andrew Tate? I want to dissect this because, and I'm going to slowly walk. I'm going to turtle walk through all the influencers of 2023. And, all the ones that are doing well for themselves. I find it interesting, the more that these people go viral, what are their thoughts on God? And I think it's even beautiful when they do believe in a God or something. When the Bible, are you familiar with the Bible? When the Bible says, to have a fear of God, I always think to myself, you should have fear of those who do not believe anything. Because the people who don't believe anything and never talk about God, those are the ones you should fear because they have no morals, they have no values. You don't know what can come from them because they don't have no law of the land. Like, they just don't care. They don't care that something's gonna happen to them. They probably don't even care about karma. They don't care about nothing. Are those the ones that cause havoc in the earth? Are those the ones that are going to and fro? That's a Bible quote. Are those the ones that are going to and fro in the earth causing trouble? Now you might say there's some religious people out there who believe and they're the ones that are causing trouble. We could touch on that another day. But for today, let's touch on Tristan Tate. Shall we?
When I was thrown into school in the United Kingdom, I was going to school with Sikhs, Muslims, Hindus, etc. And I was like, whoa, these people believe in a God that's not God, the real one? That's fucked up. So as a young kid, I read the Bible, I read the Quran, I read the Guru Granth Sahib, the Sikh holy book. And I used to engage in debates with the Muslim kid. I remember his name was Waqas. Shout out to Waqas if you're watching this. And I used to engage in debates. I'd tell him why his religion was wrong and why mine was true, and he'd tell me why his religion was true and mine was wrong. And we'd have these debates in school, and I eventually found myself slipping into atheism. I became an atheist at maybe 12, 13 years old.
Me too.
I no longer cared for religion, and I believed that, religion wasn't for me, and, you don't need God in your life to live a very happy life, until I started to look around at what other atheists were doing. It's imagine joining a team of people, essentially, and looking around at your teammates. And you see people bragging about how many abortions they have. People with fucking purple hair talking about how being a minor attracted person, or as I like to call them, a pedophile, is a sexual orientation. And I was looking around at how atheists were behaving. I thought, whoa. Maybe I've missed a trick. Maybe there was something to this God shit that I dismissed as a young boy. And I did further research. And I don't believe that any holy book that I've read in the world, I'm not trying to offend Christians, Muslims, Jews, Sikhs, I don't believe any holy book that I've read in the world is perfect. I believe that they're all man's interpretation of the thoughts of God, certainly. And I'm an Orthodox Christian now, because I live in an Orthodox Christian country. This was the religion that was most accessible to me. It was it's where the churches are, it's where the priests are and the pastors are. I made a bunch of friends within the Orthodox Christian church. I spend a lot of time in Dubai. I have a massive respect for Islam. I look at the way that their daughters behave, the way that they run their families. The same with Orthodox Christianity, the way their daughters behave, the way they run their families. I'm like, there's something to this. This is so much better than atheism.
Yeah.
I can't advise you on religious matters because I'm not a religious scholar.
This is not a religious question.
So, I picked this clip. I specifically went searching, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Go and search for these specific topics, and I love when they are brought up. One of the things that caught me that he was saying, and I kind of have the same kind of upbringing. When I was growing up, I went to a predominantly white school, and then after predominantly white, and then there was a lot of brown people. So my friends essentially were a lot of Sikh, Hindu, and a sprinkling of Muslim, but mostly Sikh and Hindu. I can't even say that the white friends that I had were Christian. They kind of just didn't really follow anything. They didn't really talk about God, kind of thing. But the brown children, as young as they were, they would bring their religious beliefs and conversations to recess. That's just the way it was. No problem. But I think that upbringing always has allowed me to always have respect for other religions. You don't have to be Christian, in my point of view, for me to respect and appreciate other people's belief system. That being said, one of the things that Tristan Tate just said was that, he's no longer atheist, but he is now a part of the Orthodox community, and he has made friendships there. Pause. That's what I want to discuss. In my personal journey, I remember I was knee deep in the Bible. I remember I was working at a place and I was working overnights, and I remember bringing the Bible to work. Overnight was quiet. We ain't got nothing to do. And I was just like, I could sit here and I could talk to you and everything, but I'd rather get up in this Bible because I got questions and nobody really told me. You feel me? So I was knee deep in the Bible at that time. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should take this kind of studying to the church. And I started to slowly go to church. Once I started to go to church, I was like, oh shoot, it's lit. Praise and worship. So it was nice. It was like a little party in the morning time on a Sunday. But that messed me up because I was like, should I go on Saturday? Should I go on Sunday? Anyways, I digress. Work with me. Walk slowly. We get into it. So here I am at church. And the more I was at church, I was like, oh, this is nice. Party over here, and it feels good. One thing I will never take from the church is it feels good. It's a feel good atmosphere. Once praise and worship is all done, depending on the pastor, you can get like a really good feel good service. I would say they are one of the best motivational speakers, and especially at that time, I was like, it's nice that you're doing all this for me, but let's get into the book. You can't do 2 scriptures and then not talk about what's going on in the book. And now we're talking about, things that make me feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not here for that. So the more that happened, I slowly backed away. So at this point, I was like, I don't care for any titles. So like Tristan Tate, I wouldn't say that I was a atheist, but I was now kind of, if you're going to give me a title, you could say I was an angry Christian, because I was just like, you guys are kind of wasting my time here. We got questions. Where's the answers? So I was like, okay, no problem. You guys do you. I'm going to respect you, but I'm going to go do my thing over here and read. No problem. So while I was at home, me and my house, we were not serving the Lord in that sense. We were reading to see if we want to serve that Lord, if you feel me. So I'm reading You know what I'm saying? I'm reading, and the more I was digging into the Bible, knee deep into the Bible, is the more I was coming out of the Bible, trying to go get some history to find out, does this make sense? Okay, bet, and go right back in there, because I felt like, and I really didn't even know who Adam and Eve was. I was just like, okay, somebody ate an apple. That's pretty much the beginning of the book. Had no idea there was other things. You know what I mean? For all I knew, Genesis was one page. God made light, God made man, they ate an apple, bop, bop, bop. They got in trouble. Walk with me. Anyways, let's just fast forward the story. I will say, the more I got into the Bible and the more that questions were not answered, or some of the questions were answered as I was diving in, I left the church. And I find it very interesting that Tristan Tate, at his age, at his big age, he is a part of a community. And when I look back at the young school children that I was friends with at that time, they were a part of a community. And to this day, I can say they are a part of a community. Now, of course, nothing's stopping me. The church never kicked me out. I could go back to that community, but that is one of the things I feel like the church needs to kind of address. There are so many people who have been, I was gonna say butthurt, brokenhearted from the church. There's a lot of people that are in the church. There's a lot of people who have been brokenhearted from the church, brokenhearted from the Bible. You believe something, you're just like, okay, bet, a rapture's coming, Jesus is coming, he got a tattoo on his thigh, he's coming back on a horse, it's all good. And then when you start to look into things, you're just like, wait, what am I saying here? I wish the church would be that sense of community once again for the people who are non-believers. It is clear that even this channel, this clip that I took from Sneeko, the conversation is there, it is ripe, and it is actually all across the internet. It is weird to me that these conversations are not happening in the house of the church. I can't say that I know all churches. I can't say that I know everything that happens inside of them. However, for the live churches that I could tap into, because church has gone virtual. That's one thing. Church has gone virtual. You can send your tithes to PayPal. Why? It is clear that there is a disconnect between the church and the internet, and what is viral and what conversations are even happening. Christians are on the internet debating. But why isn't it happening in the house of the church? That builds community. If Tristan Tate says, atheists kind of run rampant on this earth and they're making wild, crazy decisions and they're godless, it is clear that the church should probably step in, so that you could feel a sense of community. Am I wrong? Why it would be so cool, and maybe there would be less, the debate aspect wouldn't be as strong on the internet, because anybody could talk smoke. You can get up in my comment section right now and be like, you mother, right? You motherfucking bitch. You could easily do that, but would that happen in person? I think, every video, am I gonna do this every video? Oh my God, so gross. But the conscious community, that was one of the things I loved. The fact that they had debates in person. Or do you need to educate me? Do they have that? Where can I go to see debates in person? I'll tell you this is my dream. And then we're gonna end off. I would love Lolita's World. I would love to host debates here in Toronto. I would love that. Honestly, that is one of my dreams, to host and to be a space for two belief systems to come together, to have these discussions and create a sense of community. Maybe the community is no longer the church. Maybe the sense of community right now is to build with one another, but still at the end of the day, understand that no matter what our belief system is, we believe that there is a higher power and God is love. In my previous video, just like Sneeko said, God is necessary. So anyways, I just want to share that clip with you and to just breathe and speak community back into the conversation. Church, one of the great things about church, it does provide community. Even the other religions, they do provide a sense of community, but we need to get to a space where for those who stepped away from the church, just like myself, and unfortunately when I stepped away, I looked back at the church and there's all kinds of craziness happening in the church. A lot of these pastors are not acting the way I thought they were supposed to. To whom much is given, much is expected. But yet these pastors are going around and kind of treating it like a poppy show. So again, imagine Lolita's World Church Edition, debate happening Toronto, November 8th. That's just a random date. November 8th. Would be lovely. Anyways, see you in the next video. Toodles.